So, what kind of answers do you want?
Why did Caroline choose you to be her friend and confidant those last few weeks?
Actually, she didn't choose me. I processed her blood tests at the hospital. And when I found out that she had leukemia, I went to see her.
Oh, I see. You sought her out.
Yes. I was very concerned. I knew that she was dying.
Exactly. You knew she was dying.
What are you getting at?
Did you think about Ridge? And the fact that once Caroline was dead, he'd be free?
Get out of my house.
Brooke, you wouldn't be human if you didn't think about Ridge in that way at exactly that moment.
Well, of course I thought about him. I felt very sorry for him, Stephanie. I hurt for him. I knew how he would feel about Caroline's death. He loved her more than anybody.
You don't have to be defensive with me about this.
I am, because you're making unsupported accusations and I resent it. Now, please, go.
If you tell me that Ridge had nothing to do with you befriending Caroline those last few weeks, I will believe you. But then I have to assume that Caroline wanted you to take her place, didn't she?
Take her place?
Take her place. Maybe even as Ridge's wife. That's what Caroline hoped for, wasn't it? That is exactly what Caroline hoped for, isn't it? Life is so strange, Brooke. We're such enemies, and I still need you. You're the only one that can bring Eric back to me.
Dear Ridge, I'm not really sure why I'm writing you tonight. In a few days, I'll be back in LA. We can talk. Maybe that's the problem. I miss our talks. While this is a poor substitute, it's better than nothing. So I write and I reflect on things like how you're feeling. If you're back in the swing of things at work, have you gotten rid of that beard? Personally, I liked it, and generally where you're coming from these days. If I'm sounding like a person who misses you, I have missed you terribly, Ridge. When I left Los Angeles, I had so many questions, but I see more clearly by now. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you as soon as I return. Count on that. It's very important to me. Till then, I hope you are getting stronger, that you've healed from the tragedies of this past year, and are looking forward as I am to a future full of promise. Take care. I'll see you in a couple of days. Love, Brooke.
Trish, these are fine. I just want to see the rest of them. Yeah, get them up here for my approval right away. Thanks. Yes, come in. Storm, how are you?
Fine, fine. How are you doing, Eric?
Well, we're trying to get everything together for our big spring showing.
So I've read.
What can I do for you?
Well, I gather you've heard from Brooke.
Yes, I did a couple of weeks ago.
Nothing since then?
The bold and the beautiful. This portion sponsored by Ivory Liquid, where clean and soft go hand in hand.
Here, listen to this one. Mr. Garrison's eye toward style represents a departure that's not only revolutionary, but downright exciting. That says it, doesn't it?
It says it all, darling. But wait, listen to this one. Yesterday, Clarke Garrison was a name barely mentioned in fashion circles. And today, he is the toast of the town.
You know, I was expecting positive responses, but this is more than I could have hoped for. Come in.
Eye on fashion, Mr. Garrison?
Yes, please bring it on over here. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, honey. Well, I am sure that Billy Boy Spencer has come through for us.
He didn't have a choice, did he? Yes, he came through.
Let me see.
No, I'll read it to you. Clarke Garrison. A bright new star is born.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
On the wings of high anticipation, the fashion world heralded a new era in yesterday. Bold new lines, stunning use of color, sophistication, charm, and romance, all were in evidence as Clarke Garrison unveiled his first collection ever. And what a collection it is. Mr. Garrison, formerly with Forcer Creations and now with the House of Garrison Spectra, has assured us that spring '91 will be a season like few in memory. It's spectacular. Shall I go on, Mrs. Garrison?
No, honey, I've heard enough. It's so wonderful. Do you think Bill Spencer wrote this himself?
I don't know. There's no byline here.
Well, whoever wrote it, it's fabulous, and it deserves a phone call.
Hello.
Billy, my darling, it's Sally Garrison.
What do you want?
What do you mean, what do I want? I just called to say thank you.
For what?
Oh, don't be so modest. You know what for? For that fabulous review in Eye on Fashion.
Fabulous review.
Now that was a stroke of journalistic brilliance, my friend. All of it absolutely true, of course, but nevertheless, you showed a lot of class by printing it, and I really appreciate it. You did very well, Bill. Very well indeed.
Who is it?
It's me, Mr. Spencer.
What the hell is this?
That's why I'm here.
What happened to the article that I approved?
I pulled it.
You pulled it.
I rewrote it. So
Under whose authority?
you weren't there. I made the decision on my own.
This article was to blow this man out of the water, and damn it, you glorified the man.
Look, Mr. Spencer, the reason that I did
Yes,
this...
I would like to know the reason.
I did it for you.
For me.
Have you read any of these other reviews?
No, and I don't intend to.
Well, I suggest you read them. Every one of them is favorable, more than favorable, Mr. Spencer. They're calling this the fashion event of the season.
So what?
So if we print the only negative review in the industry, what does it look like? That we are off-center, out of focus. It destroys our credibility at the very least. Look, Mr. Spencer, as much as I hate to admit it, the Garrison Spectre fashion show was a resounding success. And to refute that with an unobjective article like the one I wrote would hurt you, it would hurt us immeasurably. And that is why I did it.
Mother.
Hi, darling.
The letter you brought by earlier was from Brooke.
I gathered as much. The postcard was postmarked with San Diego.
She's on her way back.
When?
Oh, a day or so.
How do you feel about that?
No, I haven't heard from Brooke in the last few weeks. Why?
I'm just a little surprised, that's all.
Have you heard from her?
No, I haven't.
Well, she'll be home very soon. The next few days, probably.
I hope so.
So if she wants to have the baby here, that much I'm sure of.
Yeah, I guess I would just feel better if we knew how she was doing.
Well, if there were any problems, she would have called.
Then you feel okay with this?
With what?
The lack of communication.
Storm, your sister went away to do some soul searching. I didn't expect to hear from her every day.
All right. I'm not going to borrow trouble.
Thank you.
Eric, can I do one thing, though? Would you mind if I ask Ridge if he's heard from Brooke?
That's a question you should be asking Dad, isn't it?
What did Brooke say?
She's sounding good.
And did she talk about the baby and your father?
Why all the questions?
Why not ask questions?
Because it's a personal letter?
Well, then that's all I need to hear.
It's not that personal.
All right, I won't press you. It's obviously something you don't want to talk about.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll see you later.
Mother, before you go, I'd like to ask you something.
What?
You talked to Taylor before she came to see me.
Oh, she told you?
Yes, she did. And what is going on between you two?
So, you changed the Garrison Review for the sake of our credibility.
That's right.
Sounds very convincing.
I didn't do it to be convincing.
Of course not.
You don't believe me?
I don't like my orders countermanded, regardless of the justification.
Mr. Spencer, you hired me 5 years ago to get the job done, as you put it. If you see problem, you said solve it. I followed that rule of thumb to the letter when I rewrote this article. I saw a problem, a very serious problem, and I solved it. And if faced with the same situation, I would do the same thing and would hope that I'd be applauded for it. If not, perhaps I'm the wrong person for your organization.
Julie, you're the right person. I want you to continue on this Garrison case. I want you to get a dossier on him that is going to put him in a divorce court an hour after Sally Spectre reads it. That's the job that I want you to do, as you put it. And that's the job that I want no excuses for. Understood?
Understood.
Yes, Storm, actually, I mind very much if you bring this up to Ridge.
Eric, do you know for certain that he hasn't heard from Brooke?
No, I don't. But I'm asking you, Storm, to leave well enough alone. I want you to stay away from Ridge on this matter.
All right. All right, I'll defer to your judgment. I'll tell you this, though. When Brooke gets back to town, if Ridge does so much as make a move toward her, I swear to God he'll wish he hadn't.
Trish, I need to ask you one more time. Are you certain that I haven't gotten any personal letters in the last week? Yes, any letters that could have been misplaced somewhere? All right. All right, thanks. No, that's okay. I should have heard from you, Brooke. I should have heard from you.
I saw Dr. Hayes when she drove up. She came into the house. We talked, that's all.
That could be plenty.
Well, if you think something happened, why don't you tell me what you think?
I don't know what happened, Mother. All I know is that Taylor had a very strange reaction when you brought that letter from Brooke over here.
What was the reaction?
She left, rather abruptly.
Well, I don't think that's strange, considering the circumstances.
You don't?
No. She knows about your relationship with Brooke.
And that ended a year ago.
Did it really?
Mother, what are you promoting here?
Ridge, I love your father. I want him back. If Brooke is out of the way, I can accomplish that. I believe that you are the key. When Brooke comes back to town, I think that you should act on your feelings. That's all I'm going to say.
Mother, what about the baby?
Families deal with babies. We are, after all, a family. At least we can be one again. The baby is not the problem, Ridge.
Yeah, come in.
This is not gonna make you happy.
What is it?
A letter. It came in yesterday. Somehow it ended up in my correspondence file.
I see.
Mr. Forrester, I'm so sorry.
That's all right, Trish. I'm just very glad you found it. Dear Eric, another few days and I'll be back. Another few days after that and we'll have a baby. So much is happening so quickly, isn't it? Spring collection gets shown in a couple of days. I'll try to be back in time. You must be so busy, but taking care of yourself, I hope. I miss you, Eric, and look forward to seeing you again. Stay well. I better close now. It's time for Lamaze. Love, Brooke.
Join us again for The Bold and the Beautiful,